Hi, Michelle and Sasie.
Hi there.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. So, we're going to talk about Class Dojo. What did you guys think?
I feel that from what I've understood and what I've got to ask around, there's a couple of teachers in my class or in my school. I'm sorry, the Spanish teachers they use it for at the high school level.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to really like it. Just from what I was looking at, from with it, the big thing is where you can include parents with
Mm-hmm.
it. And I feel like, especially at a high school level, I'm not real familiar with elementary, but especially at high school, having that collaboration and that communication with parents is a big deal. And any tool that you can utilize with that at that level is a benefit, and that's where I found the benefit with it.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I did have one experience in an elementary room where I was subbing and using Class Dojo, and I got a kind of angry call from a parent at the end of the day because his son was uh, too far negative. He was only a couple points negative, but the parent like wanted to get angry at me. So I think for some parents, having that kind of access can be uh, problematic. But for most parents, they know how to treat it as a tool
that's
and know that kids have good days and bad days. Don't get too hung
that's
up
true.
on it. Let's see.
I think another good thing about the benefit of Class Dojo is that it allows you to share with other teachers
Mm-hmm.
in the school. So if you're in teaching secondary, middle school, or high school, these kids have, 6 or 8 teachers, depending on how many periods they have. And if other teachers are using Class Dojo, you can link up with other teachers, and that one student you can see the bulk of every what this teacher said about them and then what you said about them, and it keeps track of what teacher said what for, so it keeps track of what classroom they were doing this behavior in. So I think that's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think it can be used really well as a self reflection tool. So, kids at the end of the day, especially in elementary, could take a look at their points and see where they lost and where they gained, and just kind of use it to figure out how they could do better. And like when they were learning their best and when they were not, and what situations caused problems for them. I think it'd be nice to have kids write a reflection at the end of the day sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really good too. Like being able to give them, maybe even just show them what their because what you can do too is I found that you can analyze the data as a whole. So if you
Mm-hmm.
click on like one student, you can see the makeup. There's like a pie chart, and it breaks it up as to how much behavior they're doing, which is positive, and then how much behavior is negative, comparably. So I think that's really good, and then it shows exactly what when you like roll over it, it shows exactly what behavior they were given that point for, a negative point for.
Yeah, and I
go,
know.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Michelle. Some teachers don't give or take away individual points, and some of them use it exclusively as a team tool. So they say that like we're in it together, and we can gain points as a class or lose points, which I think can be really helpful too.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it too. You can reward the class as a whole
Mm-hmm.
instead of just giving individual students. You can also give 1 point to everyone. Or I think that's good. Yeah.
So I think as a consensus, we would recommend Class Dojo.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Especially since we've heard such good things about it from Chelsea. I know that the language barrier can be helped by the translation feature, so that's another
Oh,
cool aspect. I would definitely recommend it for elementary rooms and possibly in secondary.
Like I said, just basics. I haven't really got to ask the Spanish teachers down the hall for me. They're the ones who utilizes it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they really like it, and they use it in a couple different areas. And like I said, just from and that's a big thing, especially for secondary. And it seems to be working. And I'm sure, like you said, they have those kinks with those parents that just, maybe don't know how to utilize communication too well. But for the most part, I mean, they talked positive about her positive things and with that aspect of it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely great for elementary. Definitely awesome. You can use it with every grade there. And then with secondary, yeah, it's a great tool for those who are sharing it with other teachers, like you guys said.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think the next one we looked at was Too Noisy Pro. Any thoughts on that?
Me, I mean, definitely. When I looked at that one, where I teach secondary, I thought that would maybe be something really good for elementary level. Don't see it for secondary level at all. I mean, like I said, unless I'm missing something, I feel that it's very elementary. So,
I agree.
But enlighten me if I'm wrong.
I think it's a very straightforward tool, and it is definitely geared toward elementary students with the wacky backgrounds and holiday themes, and it's something that they could get excited about. But I think also in middle school and high school, especially high school, you would expect that they have more control over what is an appropriate volume. But
exactly.
I would definitely like to pull it out when I'm subbing sometimes, because especially with the sub, I think they get so excited and forget how loud they're being, and it would save me a lot of time and voice strain, I think, if I didn't have to keep telling them, all right, you need to be at a 1 volume or a 2 volume, not this 6 that you're pulling out.
Right.
Right, or you can even use the noise levels that they have. I know they had 4 noise levels, I believe, that you could use on the Too Noisy app. So you could say, right now we have to be at a level silent, and then they had another level called quiet, or group time, or class time. And so more class time, you can be a little bit more noisy. You can set the limit to what your goal of the classroom is at the time. So that way the app can be sensitive to what you're doing in the classroom at the time. So I thought that was really cool about the app. I saw it a lot as like a game for those students in elementary school. With that app, you're able to gain stars. So you can gain 10 stars the more you're viewing the level that you're supposed to be at. And then once you earn 10 stars, you can get 1 big giant star. And I think that's really cool because it's rewarding, for the students. If they're quiet, you're not really punishing them for being noisy. You're really rewarding them for being quiet. So I think it's a really good incentive. And then if they earn that big star at the end of, the month or something, maybe they can get like a prize or candy. Really cool for elementary.
I like the game aspect too.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, like a positive behavior intervention kind of thing is what it is. Yeah, I was going to ask a question. I looked on there. What's the alarm? I don't know if you guys got to go into it, but it looks like you can set an alarm with it. How does that work? What is that about?
I was reading up on it, and you can set an alarm if they get too loud. There are different alarms, and then you can also record your voice saying something, which I think could get funny.
Okay.
You could get creative there.
Okay. Well, I noticed that. I was looking at it, and I thought, I wonder how that works. I mean,
I think that can actually be kind of like a distraction too. For the app, like say if one student is just being obnoxious and then it sets off the alarm or something, I think that could be a really big distraction with the app.
Yeah, I think you would have to use it at the right times and maybe cancel it if you have that one student who's gonna ruin it for everyone.
Right. That, like I said, that was one of the things that threw me when I was looking at it, like an alarm. Wonder how that's going to come across there for, so.
I think you have the option of turning it off too, but I might be wrong.
Okay.
So
that would be really good for
consensus?
elementary level, I
Yeah,
think.
I think elementary would be good too. Maybe middle school for group work because they can get a little bit loud. When they know they're allowed to talk and they haven't quite figured out what an appropriate volume is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's great for elementary too, and then just use discretion from there. Make sure it's not a distraction tool.
Agreed. So, what do you guys think about Instant Classroom?
I didn't get to personally look at that one a whole lot. I actually ended up looking at that teacher's class behavior free one.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed that a little bit, but couldn't do a lot with that because I didn't have. One of the downsides to that is you didn't have the Android phone or Android app or what have you. So you're sort of limited. I mean, I think that it has good aspects as far as with behavior management. It has a lot of good ideas with that one. But I didn't get to look at the instant classroom that much. I'm trying to bring it up there if you're wondering what I'm doing.
No, you're good. I also don't have an Android device, so I was limited in what I could see of the teacher's class behavior. But I did read reviews that said there's a 20 student limit, which is problematic for most teachers, and
Absolutely.
that there were only 2 positive behaviors as opposed to 5 negative behaviors that it added or that it offered. So it seemed like a really limited version of Class Dojo to me.
Mm-hmm.
But with Instant Classroom, it's pretty basic, but effective if you're looking for a seating chart maker. It can randomize your students and put them in a seating chart. You can move them around to how you'd like them. And then there's a random name generator, which can come in handy, but you can
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
And then it can make classroom groups for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that could come in handy.
Yeah, I like that part about the group generator.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with high school, I remember students would get angry when the teacher would make their groups for them, and they'd want to be with their friends. But if you were to put it on the screen for them and pick their group, and then it randomizes for them, and then it shows up on the screen, then you tell them go find your group member based on what the app said, then they can't get that's what it is. You tell them this is your group. And then it's great because you wouldn't have to do it for them as well. So it's really a good tool for us as teachers, save some time there. I thought it was really cool with the group generator. You can either, pick from group size or how many groups you wanted. So that gave you some options there.
Mm-hmm. We got about 2.5 minutes left in our recording, just so you know.
Okay.
I think I would recommend Instant Classroom if you don't already have access to a seating chart maker or a classroom group maker, which I think Power School that our schools use, you can really easily make your seating chart and you can put your student pictures in. So that's pretty helpful. And it's always there when you log into your attendance. So I don't know how useful it is if you already have those capabilities.
I agree with you because our school uses what's called live grades, and it already has access to all those things, and it actually links up with our state department to record absentees, to record behavior issues, all that. It all links together and connects together, and it's actually a free program that they offer, and you can get like the pro or the upgrade. You'd have to pay for it, but just for the basic, just the basic minimum, it's got a lot of features to it, and so that's the same thing. It has all you can generate reports from it. do via email, upload assignments. I mean,